Good evening and welcome to Sport at Prime. A very, very big day today for rugby fans and I suppose for South Africans as well. As Kathy mentioned, the Springbok squad for the 2019 Rugby World Cup has finally been announced. Coach Rassie Erasmus has named his 31 players that will be looking to win South Africa's third title. He has stuck to his word of rewarding players who have shown great form over the last 2 years. That's been a mix of experience and selection consistency. 12 players of colour have been included, the highest for a Springbok squad that has ever gone to a World Cup before. While Siya Kolisi will go on to become the first black player that will lead the Boks and they chase the glory of the Webb Ellis Trophy.
It was a fairly long process. We started already last year. There was 18 test matches, a lot of camps, and then I must say the last week was really tough. There was 5 or 6 guys that unfortunately didn't make it. Obviously form, experience, and then at the end of the day, I think there was 3 or 4 guys that was really unlucky. So it was a long process, and we really feel for the 5 or 6 guys didn't make it. But I think these guys who are here really deserve it.
I'm very excited and obviously nervous as well. But I think I'm more excited because I know who's in my corner. I've got a lot of guys who've captained teams, with a lot of guys with a lot of leadership skills who can lean on. So that gives me a bit of more excitement in me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I know I'm not on my own. And the most important thing for me, what coaches ask me, is just to play, and the rest will take care of itself.
And what is your message to all South Africans, not just the ladies and gentlemen here gathered at MultiChoice City?
No, first of all, we just want to say thank you for supporting us through the tough times, and as we've been working hard the past 2 years to try and make sure that we gain a better respect back. And we know that our work is not done yet, and your support means a lot to us. You guys come into the stadium. Without you guys, we won't be able to do what we do. And yeah, it means a lot to every single player here to see you guys at stadiums and your messages. And yeah, wearing your jerseys on Black Fridays means a lot to us. And don't get tired of it. It means a lot to us. I know we might not say something back at times, but we work as hard as we can to make sure to make you guys proud.
Right, well, to find out more about this squad announcement, we've decided to ask Philasande Sixaba to come join us live in studio. He spent time today at MultiChoice to get the squad selection firsthand from Rassie Erasmus, from Marc Alexander, the president of SA Rugby. Pila, thank you very much for your time. Lovely to have you on News at Prime tonight. 14 members of this squad were part of the team in 2015.
Yeah.
People often speak about the spine of the squad being very important and how vitally crucial it is to have senior members in the side. You and I were chatting about whether or not this team does deserve to be called relatively inexperienced. Where does that then scale tip for you with regards to the balance of the side and whether or not this team is indeed as inexperienced as some may suggest?
Look, I think the 14 players that you mentioned that have been to the 2015 World Cup, you might think that they've got quite a good mix of experienced players. But if you look at the other kind of crop of players that come after that, you know, Herschel Jantjies is probably only in his 5th or 4th test match. There's a lot of other guys that are still on single-digit test matches, which makes it very inexperienced at test match level, and especially at the World Cup. But I think that the 14 players that have been to the World Cup in 2015 in England, they'll lean a lot, the new players will lean a lot on those guys' experience, and they do have a lot of experience in the likes of Eben Etzebeth, Dwayne Vermeulen, and the spine of that leadership team in that Springbok camp is really strong. And as Sia mentioned, you know, there's a lot of guys that are going to be in his corner that he's going to look at for a lot of advice going forward into this 20 weeks of rugby in Japan.
In your opinion, what is needed to win a Rugby World Cup? Because you want the experience, you want the excitement of youth. But perhaps for me, what's vitally important is that X factor as well, because you need those X factor players that are going to win you matches. You mentioned Herschel Jantjies certainly being one of the X factor players. I mean, if we go through the rest of the list here, for me, Spu Nkosi, Makazola Mapimpi is absolutely outstanding. Kwagga Smith, Cheslin Colby. Does this come across as a squad that arguably has more X factor than what we've seen in campaigns gone by?
That's definitely it, Mark. And if you look at the kind of players that Rassie Erasmus has you know, sort of given international experience over the last 2 years, most of them are pretty much game breakers. If you mentioned the likes of Cheslin Colby, who 2 years ago probably never thought that he'll be in a Springbok mix, let alone going to a World Cup. And he finds himself one of the key members of a World Cup squad. So they'll look a lot to the X factor that the likes of Colby brings. Herschel Jantjies, who's only played a handful of Test matches, but looks really, really exciting and looks the part in Test match rugby. You also mentioned the likes of Makazole Mapimpi, who's a try scorer of note. He's proven at every level that he's played at, whether it's Super Rugby, whether it's Currie Cup, whether it's Pro 14 with the Cheetahs a couple of seasons ago, and now at Test match level. So it's going to be important for those players to step up and take the mantle and bring out that X factor. But I also think one element that needs to be considered in the World Cup campaign is the element of luck, and that's
and don't underestimate that.
You can't underestimate the element of luck in a World Cup campaign. You really need that, and hopefully the rub of the green will bounce the Springboks way in this campaign.
Yep, luck of the draw, luck of the bounce as well. Here's a look at the Springbok backline. We mentioned Makazole Mapimpi. Does he hold the trophy for the best finisher in South Africa right now, or is that Spoon Nkosi's title to hold?
Sure, it's very difficult. I think we're really blessed with some exciting outside backs. If you look at the kind of guys that are not going to the World Cup, Aphiwe Jantjie, obviously, he's still under a sort of a doping cloud. If you look at the guys, Dylan Lates from the Stormers, who's exciting himself.
What about Siabelo Senatla? There's another name that's floated around. Siabelo Senatla had tried to make the transition from 7s to 15. He played a lot of Super Rugby as well with the intention of breaking into this World Cup squad. And again, if we take a look at that back line now, we mentioned Lucanio Amu, who's absolutely outstanding in the centre as well. Warwick Galant, very, very innovative player. Frans Steyn comes back for a fairy tale return after winning this World Cup 12 years ago as a 19-year-old. We mentioned Herschel, Cheslin, Jesse Creel will do the business, Kobus Reinhardt as well. It says a lot when Siabelo Senatla cannot get into a World Cup side, doesn't it?
And that's the quality of the outside backs that we do have, Mark. It's very hard to crack this Springbok squad with the kind of quality of finishes there are in the squad. I mean, it is virtually impossible for the likes of Siabelo Senatla, Dylan Lates to crack this World Cup squad, given the fact that Makazole Mapimpi has done in Test match level, what Cheslin Colby has done at Test match level and for his club in France. And of course, Spoon Nkosi, who scored those 2 brilliant tries last week at Loftus against Argentina. So it's difficult, and we are really in a blessed position to have those kind of finishes in our system.
If we shift the focus to the forwards, then I, for one, am personally very upset that unfortunately Warren Whiteley was not able to make it into the side. Injuries were just not going on to help him out and allow him to get into the side. And this is a former Springbok captain of sorts. Before injuries saw him out of the game and Siya Kolisi took over the captain's armband. But if we take a look at omissions from this forward pack now, who for you then stands out as far as this forward pack is concerned?
Look, I think it's very unfortunate that the likes of Warren Whiteley, Reinhard Elstad, and Marcel Coutier couldn't make this final 31-man squad. It's still a very, very, very good selection in terms of the forwards. I think 17 really strong forwards that are going to Japan. And you know, the selection protocols for Rassie Erasmus says that you have to be available, fit and ready, and be willing to play different positions within those forward packs. And unfortunately for those injured guys, they couldn't make the trip to Japan. But I think a couple of players that do stand out in that forward pack, obviously Siya Kolisi will come with the leadership and his play, with the interplay between the backs and the forwards. Kwagga Smith is one person that I'm really excited to see play at a World Cup. He brings a lot of speed into that back row. The pitches in Japan are very hard grass pitches where a lot of the rugby will be quick. You'll see a lot of quick play in rugby. So he's going to be very important in terms of breaking the game away and taking it away from the opposition. So I'm really excited to see him. Dwayne Vermeulen, with the bulk and the experience and the go forward that he brings into this pack, is also going to be very exciting to see.
That's what you're looking for in some of those dynamic forwards as well. Kwagga Smith in particular certainly will speed up the game and look to try and steal as much ball as possible. Let's take you through some tweets that have come through in our social media feed just to get some reaction. Really gutted for Aphiwe Jantjie. hope when it's all said and done, you are found negative. Hashtag Springboks. The timing of this all needs to be heartbreaking for him and for his fans. Let us not take this man's achievement lightly. Siyamthanda Kolisi, hashtag Springboks, just showing again what he's been able to do for the Springbok team and bringing the team together. I'm so happy for Sport and Nkosi. There was no doubt in my mind that you were going to make the trip, and then there was no doubt in anyone's mind that Sport and Nkosi was going to make this trip. Expected squad, very good squad, has the tools to win the Rugby World Cup. Depth, X factor, leaders, experience, youth, smart coach, clear strategy, and multiple weapons based on a rock-solid pack. As you mentioned, Pila, all they need now is a little bit of luck from rugby, a little bit of luck. That's from rugby writer Craig Ray. And what's your take or view on the Springboks Rugby World Cup squad? Unfortunately, that Deonte, Whiteley and Kutsia did not make it. Hashtag Bok Rugby, hashtag Go Bokke. Just some of the tweets that have come through on hashtag News at Prime tonight. Pila, thank you for your time. We'll obviously have a lot more to chat about as we get closer towards the Rugby World Cup. And let you not forget that South Africa, who did they take on in that very first game? The mighty All Blacks in the opening match of their campaign. What a better way to start a Rugby World Cup than South Africa taking on New Zealand. That's all the time we have for you right now. There's plenty more to look forward to right here on News at Prime. In fact, before we go, let's quickly see if we can try and just remind you of some of the very sad news that came through earlier on today with Sports and Recreation Minister Nathi Mthethwa describing David Kikana's contribution to sport as one that will never be forgotten. The now late football analyst passed away yesterday following a 5-year battle with diabetes.
Following 2 weeks in the hospital, the sporting fraternity is struggling to deal with the news that David Kekana has passed on. Messages of condolences have poured in, paying tribute to the sporting personality. EFF leader Julius Malema posted this, offering support to a close friend. The Premier Soccer League also expressed shock, with Kekana having covered league matches extensively over the years. Before long, colleagues in the media, football clubs, and even the most famous of players can be seen paying tribute. Kekana was just 47 years old. Funeral arrangements have not been announced just yet. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I am Benjamin Leshoro.
I had the privilege of working alongside David Kekana for quite some time, and again, massive condolences from everyone here at Newzroom Afrika Channel 405 to the friends and family of the incredible David Kekana.